All right, we are live. We are live, and now let's look into ChatGPT Atlas. We're using ChatGPT Atlas for a couple of days now, and this has been pretty good. We are trying to figure out the positioning of this mic. Okay. All right, I guess this is it. We want to remove the pulsives, and let's go. What does Twitter has to say? So for ChatGPT experience, this has been pretty good. The next video essay that's gonna come out is gonna be around. It's gonna be around browser wars, and we will look further into. Browser wars. We'll look into ChatGPT Atlas. We'll look into Perplexity Comet. We'll look into Dia. In general, the idea right now is that Dia is beautiful. Dia is still the most beautiful one. They have hired really good designers, and they do a really good job at just packaging this entire experience. They have these tiny animations, tiny UI elements that are just beautiful. Comet was powerful. Comet actually had the agent mode. It was actually working. Perplexity is working on a lot of things, and Comet is kind of their one product where all of these things come together. They're working a lot on Perplexity Finance, basically replacing Bloomberg Terminal, and I think that could be a competitor. That could be a competitive advantage for Perplexity, for people who are really interested in trading, people who are really interested in Polymarket, all these kind of things. Perplexity is kind of building a deeper integration over there. They have done a really good job at just bringing all these, like pulling the data from all these sources and displaying them in a really good UI. So Perplexity is really good at that. ChatGPT Atlas, it's very clean. It's exactly what Dia is, but with the power of actual ChatGPT. So it's beautiful. It's sleek, just like Dia is. It's like 80% there of where Dia is, but it's actually ChatGPT. So now you have all the context, you have the responses that are working. The agent mode actually works in Perplexity. Sometimes I activate agent mode, and it seems like it goes to do things, but either it's stuck in reasoning or it's just really slow. It's stuck in reasoning, so it's not taking action. It's taking a long time to take the action. With ChatGPT, the agent mode takes a lot of action, and I have not tried a lot, but once or twice when I tried, it was stuck in a loop. So it was taking action, but it kept taking action, never finished the task. So there's a difference between Perplexity Comet and ChatGPT Atlas right now. Perplexity Comet, too slow to take action. So for the interesting use cases, when I actually wanted to try it, I actually couldn't try it because I was like, oh, this is taking too long. I would rather just do it by myself. ChatGPT, it started taking action, which looked very exciting, that okay, you're taking the right steps. But somehow I came back to it and I'm like, oh, why are you still doing the work? It was so easy. Like one example would be for ChatGPT, I tried this. They had their own inbuilt example, which was find me a good lamp for my desk under $200 on Etsy. I click that. I let it run over. I let the agent mode run. It seemed like it's taking the right steps. It was taking the right steps, but then somehow something happened. I came back and I'm like, this should have been finished. The way you were going, it looked like you were taking the right actions. This should have been finished, but it seems like it's got stuck somewhere. What else? Yeah, so that's it. Now let's look into ChatGPT Atlas. The browser wars have now started. Chrome has its own response. Google is trying to implement their stuff everywhere. So now the questions that I would ask to a YouTube video, questions I would ask to comment about a YouTube video, Google has its own ask button on every YouTube video. So now you can, if you have a specific question for the YouTube video, you don't have to open Perplexity Assistant. You can actually use Google's or YouTube's ask button, YouTube's assistant, because since YouTube is over there, Google owns YouTube, since Google owns YouTube and YouTube already has access to the transcript, you don't have to take any extra step. With using the sidebar, you have to take one extra step, which is you have to open the transcript. If you just look at the video and if you start prompting it, it might not give the best response. But if you just go around the description and click on show transcript, and now the transcript is over there, the model, whatever, Perplexity or ChatGPT, Atlas or Comet, can actually better respond to your question or queries when you have the transcript open. So now with Google, it's all about deeper integrations. It's all about deeper integrations over here. The deeper your integration is, the faster, the fewer steps you need to execute a question, the more actions you will take. The lesser the friction, the more action you will take. The more action you will take, the more you will actually find that, oh shit, this is actually really nice. This is just a random query. This is just a random query. This is just a random thought. But if there were 1 or 2 steps that were adding friction, I just wouldn't have done it. And just because there's a deeper integration, I'm not doing it. That's the only thing. That's everything about these AI browsers. All these AI browsers are that you have put this sidebar with all the context of you and what you're working on right now. And because it's just one shortcut now, instead of a separate tab or separate web app, you are actually executing on the ideas that come to your mind. And every time you're actually curious now, like right now, if I'm looking at my feed right now, I'm just like, okay, interesting. My question was ChatGPT Atlas, so I can ask it that, okay, summarize all the tweets here, something like that. And now I'm like, okay, let's see what it does. And this just leads to interesting use cases that you wouldn't have done. These are the interesting use cases that you wouldn't have done on the web app, but you are doing it now because you have the access. So what do we have right now? OpenAI. Okay, so official launch October 21. Meet a new browser. So I think that's gonna be the big tweet. 11 million views. Sleek promo image of the new Atlas browser UI. Community reactions. So this person actually moved ChatGPT Atlas to trash. Sarcastic humor implying frustration or confusion with the new app. Okay, Min Choi. So now, okay, this is an interesting one. Overall sentiment. Launch hype is high. Huge engagement on OpenAI's post. Public tone mix of excitement, humor, and light cynicism. Themes. Curiosity about Atlas as an integrated browser. Jokes that it's Chrome with ChatGPT. Again, this is also very interesting. Signal said something interesting about this, that Google has basically open sourced 2 of the most important technologies, which is Chromium, and then the paper attention is all you need, which is today the foundation of its biggest competitors, which is the foundation of the competitors that are now in the process of killing Google itself. So we don't know if anything's gonna happen to Google, but Chrome has to move really fast. Now we don't know what Chrome is gonna do. Definitely, if Google was moving slower earlier to embed all these AI technologies, because they are basically, the right word is, they're basically, what's the right word? What's the word when you're killing your own product with a new product? I forgot. But what is it called? Oh my god, I think I'm having the word is coming to my brain. Okay, but anyways, sabotage. No, not sabotaging. No, not sabotaging. But anyways, yes, Google has basically build the foundations for its competitors. So that is very interesting. Every coding app is now wipe coding app. So this was very interesting. You can actually, like, you can go over here and be like, write a code snippet to create a Shopify app. Okay, this is very interesting because now I have this right over here. I have everything over here. Every app is, I can click update over here. It's all over here. This is crazy. Okay, every app is a wipe coding app. This is something that I found very interesting. But okay, let's now look over the post. Me after 10 minutes of ChatGPT Atlas, they want to throw it in the trash. Okay, this person is basically saying that behind the scenes it's just Chromium. Okay, ChatGPT Atlas launch look familiar. We saw this. Every coding app is a wipe coding app. This is very interesting. It's actually hard to figure out. It was hard to figure out how to use this feature. Yeah, so it's right on the cursor. Suppose etil pertinon parhapo avot research. Oui. ChatGPT Atlas is Chromium based. Claude for desktop has so far boosted my usage more than the Atlas browser for ChatGPT. Yeah, taking screenshot is like an extra step. Yeah, there's a reason why this post didn't get too many likes. Although the voice to dictate versus true voice mode is driving me crazy. Anthropic cooked. Timing's perfect. Launch this at the same time. Let's completely agree. The desktop app is great. Yeah. Keyboard shortcut to launch Claude from anywhere. Auto ingestion of what's on your screen. Caps lock to enable voice mode. Talk to Claude. Interesting. So you don't have to. Agent mode is sick. When you background a tab with agent, which is really amazing to build that, it gets tripped up in content blockers. Okay, content blockers. Websites like this is the reason why they had operator. This is the reason why they had agent mode in the virtual desktop, where it could just keep going without any of the content blockers. Websites like New York Times somehow blocked using Atlas to summarizing content. CNN and others work just fine. It's so native to macOS and is integrated with autofilling iMessage. Yeah, this one is interesting. They have keychain access. The agent is very human-like. Dismiss modals by clicking out from them. Maybe it's not intentional. I got lucky. Not sure. I love the UI onboarding. It's super slick. They're learning from Arc. They're learning from Arc over here. All right, let's see. Or browser company. And one interesting thing also is just that after this browser company started this, they started this trend of switching browser. People started switching browser. The people first got onto Arc. I got into Arc. A lot of people in the startup, they got into Arc, especially if you're in design, especially if you're into design, if you are a product manager, you would use Arc. Yes, people who were software engineers, they would stick with Chrome because they are like, oh, Chrome is the best, right? And they have built a habit with Chrome. But product managers, designers, they care about the design, so people were supporting the browser company. And what has happened through that process is that switching browser became very easy. The switching cost became really low. It became really easy to import all your passwords, import all your bookmarks, import everything. Make sure that all the switching process is made as seamless as possible, so you can actually switch. And because the switching costs have dropped, now people are switching. So that is something that has happened. When I ask if it has incognito mode, it's extra neat. Okay, prediction. ChatGPT, Atlas, and AI browsers, we are about to see the rise of super cookie. Instead of browser cookies tracking page views and clicks, agent-based cookies know all. Not just that Mary was looking for shoes recently, but she likes limited edition high tops. Okay. Hates pastel, needs Arc support for her flat feet, has a history of splurging on pages, and responds best to aspirational CTAs. If it felt like our Instagram ads felt a little personal before, marketing is about to feel clairvoyant. Okay. Agent-based cookies. No wall. Interesting. More evidence that SEO massively influences AI SEO. ChatGPT just released its own browser, Atlas. When you enter prompt and navigate to the search tab, Google's search results for the prompt are displayed. And even at the top of the home tab, which displays the generative AI, the first three links are the first 3 pages Google ranked for the prompt. As ChatGPT takes over the web, SEO, AI SEO is slowly becoming the most important marketing channel. It's time to start taking it more seriously. Interesting. Somehow SEO is not dead. Okay. Interesting. OpenAI ChatGPT Atlas sure does a ton of phoning home. We don't know what that means, phoning home, but this is a joke, definitely. How else would it get all this training data? The more I think about it, the more brilliant this move is. Think of all the authenticated data streaming into OpenAI now. Such a treasure trove. Turn off phoning home. Computer use is the consumer version of Codex CLI, but they need a lot of clicks, feedback, images, though it doesn't look like they're collecting that, but at least button and scrolling is important. Okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting. It's like me using ChatGPT Atlas is giving even more data. It's even high velocity feedback loop. We talked about this. ChatGPT, all it cares, like it really wants, how it can differentiate itself is high velocity feedback loop. A TikTok format, putting your Sora model inside a TikTok-like format. That's a high velocity feedback loop of understanding of keep improving your video generation model. There's a new update. There's a new update for ChatGPT. What if we update over here? Okay, I think it's gone. We'll just resync with ChatGPT Atlas. Okay, perfect. We are here. I wish it also showed us that what is the exact update it worked on. But this is kind of interesting. Again, putting your product inside, packaging a product inside this browser is now again a high velocity feedback loop. Every click it is understanding that okay, users are spending more time on X, users are spending time doing this, and this is exactly getting access to code base of an entire company, and you are getting to understand that how does a user actually use, what does a user do, and what are all the efficient ways that we can help improve them. They're getting a lot of data about the websites that are being used the most. Everything. Okay. OpenAI has launched a web browser called Atlas, which includes a ChatGPT interface that allows user to ask questions on the chat alongside what they're doing on the desktop. Another thing that is very interesting is actually, this is a good idea, high velocity feedback loop. Sora app is video gen model. Atlas is for the language model. Okay, this is a really cool idea. Allows third-party cookies by default. Disappointing. Okay, what does that mean? It was always a grift. A single click they can be turned off. Allow third-party cookies. Sites can use third-party cookies to personalize content and ads and learn about actions you take on the other side. Site features that rely on third-party cookies should work as expected. When you are in incognito, ChatGPT Atlas blocks site from using third-party cookies. Block third-party cookies. Send a do not track request with your browsing traffic. Oh, very interesting. So if we go to settings, third-party cookies. Allow your content to be used to train our models, which makes ChatGPT better for you and everyone who uses it. We take steps to protect your privacy. Oh, web history. Include web pages you have visited in the ChatGPT app to improve our models. We take steps to respect publisher preferences and your privacy. Include audio recordings, include video recordings. Wow. Okay. So this is it. High velocity feedback loop. This is what ChatGPT is building. And this is gonna be our script. This is gonna be our hook. And we can maybe create this together. We can create this together. ChatGPT Atlas is high velocity feedback loop to improve the language model. Sora app is the high velocity feedback loop to improve the video gen model. Okay. Very interesting. Love the subtle animation. Use ChatGPT Atlas to find domain ideas for my IoT mattress startup on Vercel. Open and just entered the browser game. Atlas brings ChatGPT to every page. Are you switching from Chrome to ChatGPT Atlas? Connection secure. Sound design. Wow. It's really cool. Oh, introducing the ChatGPT Atlas extension for Raycast. Okay. Instantly search your browsing history, seamlessly copy URLs, titles on Markdown, effortlessly organize your bookmarks. ChatGPT Atlas is in our computer use. Starting a search from the URL opens a chat and native search results are trying to take over search. Sources of during setup feels instantly viral. Zach Hall. YouTube summary extensions are available on ChatGPT Atlas. So here is summarize the key themes and points from this. Veronica Saron, white taste can be automated. The human edge in marketing and AI. Glasp talk. Sound design. The new browser is pulling review count from Google business profiles. Review count. 2 reviews on ChatGPT's new browser for the same query. Think I prefer the AI chatbot review to the old school search engine. Yeah, really cool. Built on Chromium, which means you can use all Chrome extensions in Atlas. That was obviously obvious. That was obviously obvious. Okay, interesting. AI safety expert, these are the only 5 jobs that will remain in 2030. Whoa, what are the 5 jobs? Super intelligent AI is inevitable, capable of replacing nearly all human jobs, does not yet know how to make advanced AI safe, existentially dangerous, yet tech leaders are gambling 8 billion lives to get richer and more powerful. My default browser at this point, resisting the ASI, is just bad UX. Pure comedy. Okay. On-device model to summarize websites, but gives you this notice when you enable it. Summarizing web pages on your device reduces protection. Some protections against malicious websites cannot be run when enabled. It can also impact the quality of browser memories as well as your device's performance and battery life. On-device model to summarize websites, but it gives you this notice when you enable it. Whoa. Striking express letting go in ChatGPT Atlas and the AI from Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. Reminder that AI can end in 2 different ways. Oh my god. Okay. This is very interesting. Was it intentional? Did people know about it? It's very interesting. I think I know Will Brike. Oh, CEO Exa Labs. I know him. Okay. This is ChatGPT Atlas landing page and you were still learning about padding. Okay, what's wrong here? It's just very artistic. Okay, now this is very boring because they're just talking about the launch. What we are here for is the browser wars. Let's go. So I think now we are getting into some juicy stuff. No, we are not getting the juicy stuff. 20th October. Okay, let's see. The browser wars are real. AI browser. Strawberry, the self-driving browser non-beta. Okay. Orkin Brave browser operator. Whoa. Nuke browser. There are by that one owned by Atlassian. A browser inspired by that one owned by Atlassian. Okay, interesting. Comet. Data HQ. Surface open source. Google Chrome. Obviously. Dia. Okay. Arc Internet had 87. Wow. Google Chrome has 7 million followers. Dia just has 25. Helium browser. Okay. Microsoft Edge, almost 1 million. Okay. There is Aura, the browser your goal dreams about. Orion, Apple, Safari by Apple, Sigma, Zen browser. Okay. Interesting. What do we have here? Nuke browser. Oh, they copied Arc. The design is exactly like Arc. Okay, browse. It's yours. Open source, private, forever. Oh, so they basically made. Oh. They made an open source version of Arc. Spaces, not tab crawl. I love this. This is amazing. This is actually amazing. Okay. Group work hobbies and rabbit holes into calm rooms. Switch with one shortcut. Open by design. Really cool. What's even Nuke? Download the alpha. Open source local first, cozy by design. Product hunt. Team. Fabian. This is really cool. They basically open source Arc. Amazing work. Alright. It should be obvious to any serious observer that the winner of the AI browser wars will be whichever company delivers the most thoughtful and valuable merch to me personally. Thus, for Perplexity leads the race handily. But as they say, it's early days. Browse at the speed of thought. Wow, Comet has... This is beautiful. I think there's a massive difference between... So this is what I have a problem with Comet. There's a massive difference between the design of their marketing products and the design of their actual product. There's a massive difference. Like, look at this design and look at how Arc looks, the Arc browser looks like. There's a massive difference.
Consumer, the two of us, we want to own our memory in context. We don't want it to only live in OpenAI or Anthropic or anywhere else.
This is the core thing that USB is obsessed with. Yeah. The idea that we want to own our own data is actually the core root of the thesis on blockchain. I would argue that at least up to now, that has been a philosophically interesting idea, but the utility of it has been limited.
I 100% agree with you, because the utility has not been accessible. I mean, that's why I think there's a bit of a browser war coming, because it is the ultimate, it's the only other operating system for either in like Windows or Android or iOS or a browser. Yeah. And a browser can have its own rules and profile and memory and everything else about us.
Context, memory, ownership, right? Ownership is the next frontier. Ownership is the next frontier. Over here they're talking about, yeah, they're bringing in AI and crypto together. AI and crypto together. This is amazing. Browsing Wayback Machine and came across an article I wrote in 2008 for NetEts on Google officially entering the browser wars with Chrome. Haha. When a new browser enters the market, people generally split up into two categories. The first group thinks great. Anything that moves us toward a more... Isn't it funny that he is using Arc browser to open this thing? Okay. Anything that moves us towards a more standards-oriented environment is a good thing. The other group, neither better nor worse, thinks to themselves, oh gee, another browser that I will have to test my sites in. Enter Chrome. Today, Google officially entered the browser wars. No matter which group you fall into, you will inevitably find yourself downloading this new browser. If you compare the browsers of 96 to the browsers of today, you will find that truthfully, they haven't evolved that much. Sure, they are more standards aware, but generally speaking, they have essentially remained unchanged over the last decade. Google is hoping to change that. Wow. I'm your student. Interesting. Very interesting. The browser is the app store of the internet. Whoever owns the default AI inside the default browser wins the future. That's the holy grail, which means one thing: the browser wars are coming.
A year, Google pays Apple, so that when you're in Safari, the browser is essentially the app store for the internet, right? It's how you access what the internet has, and it's the portal that every user has. So whatever the defaults in that browser are going to drive just about everything else. So like, I don't know how many billions of dollars a year Google pays Apple, so that when you're in Safari, Google's the default, but it's massive. So being the default AI within the default browser that everybody's using is that's the holy grail. That's the last mile. It's the thing you want. Yeah, the browser is essentially the app store for the internet, right? It's how you access what the internet.
We have to make sure we get this captured. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Browser wars, Brad and Fred. The AI browser wars officially begin with OpenAI's release of Atlas, Chrome, 4 billion users, ChatGPT 800 million weekly. Every AI lab wants to own the interface to be the default intelligence. Basically, an operating system to shift from chatbot to OS is here. Okay, this is very smart. This is very smart that Perplexity actually owns OS.ai. OS.ai. This is very interesting. They're very early in the game. Oh my god. Okay. Oh no, not Iron. If you search OS.ai. Wow. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Perplexity owns the domain os.ai. I think they bought it from Dharmesh, I think. Dharmesh HubSpot. This is so interesting. So I think Google should have launched an AI native browser first. They cannot. It's going to be really hard for Google to launch because they are going to be sabotaging on all their current products. It's going to be really hard to make a decision to cut off all these revenue streams that they already have today to enter into unknown territory. So I think Google should have launched an AI browser, native browser first. The AI agent inside doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is to capture users early, collect data, and train better agents. I still think we're hyper focused on AI browsers and them being the final frontier to capture the end-to-end AI user experience. In the long run, I doubt the general public would want to bind themselves with one model for perpetuity, and unless a browser offers the flexibility, it will have hard time to find sticky traction. The difference between Chrome's market capture a decade ago versus now is that the AI agentic experience is not free and it's not cheap. Users would be generally annoyed waiting for minutes for things to complete because of the server latency and on-device offline serving of models remotely capable of doing multi-turn useful tasks without going berserk is still a somewhat far-fetched dream. Serving models remotely capable of doing multi-turn useful tasks without going berserk is still a somewhat far-fetched dream. I really feel this after trying Atlas for about 10 minutes and asking it to rent some GPUs from Hyperbolic. It just couldn't do it. I can't wait for so long. So I ended up switching to my good. Okay. I want to ask that question. Rent some GPUs from Hyperbolic. I can use your browser to rent GPUs from Hyperbolic. Would you like me to continue? Continue. Launching into action. Apply my skills and resources. Okay. Browser memory. Hyperbolic. Clarifying the request. Disambiguating with browser history. Proceeding with web search. Hyperbolic GPU. Okay. Opening Hyperbolic site. I've opened Hyperbolic's rental page before I can configure and rent a GPU instance on your behalf. You will need to log into your Hyperbolic account or create one. Once you're logged in, please let me know and specify any preferences you have. Quantity and rental duration. After that, I can select the appropriate instance and prepare the rental of. I think this UI is way better. How it takes. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. How it goes from how. Yeah, wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Yeah, this is beautiful. Oh my god. Oh my god. That switch is beautiful. Like that Comet hasn't figured that switch out. That's a UI. That's a UI switch. That's a UI. Oh my god. That's so good. It's so good. It takes so much thought to build something like this. ChatGPT, Atlas, UI switch when working with agent mode. Sidebar, or what do we call it? Chat GPT homepage transforms into target site with sidebar. Yeah, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. By the way, this is Hyperbolic. Okay, this is what this guy's talking about. Okay, anyways. Bobby Holly started as an intern and eventually grew to the CTO of Mozilla Firefox, interviewed everything he learned through the browser wars, Chrome versus Firefox. It's powered by AI. You should search AI browser wars to keep it fresh. The browser really two competing versions for AI feature, Dia Comet. build AI into the browser itself. OpenAI abstract the browser away entirely. Just tell ChatGPT what you want. Okay, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. So many interesting thought processes over here. So what Dia Comet were trying to do is make a browser and then add AI to it. What OpenAI is doing is take ChatGPT and make it into the browser. Now that we are in an agent-driven world, there's a war for agentic dominance, and the biggest strategic question is in that war is, where in the tech stack do those agents live? On which layer will power accrue? In December 2022, I wrote that I thought power would accrue on 4 layers: the operating system, the browser, models that are willing to return risky results to users, copyright. Agents are now fighting for the browser layer, but they have different methods of attack. With the browser companies Dia and Perplexity's Comet, AI is built into the browser itself. By contrast, OpenAI wants to abstract away the browser entirely. You just tell ChatGPT agent what you want and it handles using the browser and the rest of the computer for you. Whoever wins gets to intermediate between user and the entire web. OpenDia. Bring the AI to your current browser. Very interesting. But what is this? You just tell ChatGPT agent what you want and it handles using the browser and the rest of the computer for you. Whoever wins gets to intermediate between users and the entire web. Users and the entire web. OpenAI just fired their first shot in the AI browser wars with ChatGPT agent. They're applying the truth for devices to operator, the Claude code to ChatGPT agent. AI tools have been running unassisted for longer periods on more complex tasks. Now that we are in an agent-driven world, there's a war for agentic dominance, and the biggest strategic question in that war is, where in the tech stack do those agents live? On which layer will power accrue? I wrote that I thought power would accrue on 4 layers. Okay, interesting, it's the same one. 18th August, 9th September, 21st August. OpenAI just killed the browser. Meet Atlas. Controls your tabs like an agent. Chats with any site. Remembers your history. Feels personal. Perplexity.com will have a tough time competing, and Chrome just lost the plot. Okay, that is very clean. That is very clean way of saying things. Very good. Got personal. AI learns to understand human intent directly. Browsers are emerging as the ultimate front end for using AI. Bring up the latest podcast I watch. I want to continue watching it from where I left off. Okay. Identify X profiles of speakers. Make sure they are correct ones. Bring them on new tabs. See, that's an interesting way to use it. That's an interesting way to use it. The web browser war is back. OpenAI just launched Atlas web browser built into ChatGPT. Even Perplexity has introduced its own browser called Comet. We're going to see the OS war return, but in the AI era. Impressed so far, going to go deep comparison to Comet and Dia. Crazy to think there are now 3 choices for AI-powered browsers. What is this? Tell you what bold metrics does. Turn on browser memories. Search my web history for a doc I used for my fantasy football draft. Turn on ChatGPT on any site. Find coupons or discount codes. Declared war on Google. Now has its own browser called ChatGPT Atlas. Oh, there are good hikes nearby. Sources for AI browser. Oh, we can look into this. Okay. Google Trends. Let's see. AI browser. Canada, now worldwide. Let's go. Let's go. 22 suddenly was massive. Not past day. Past 12 months. Okay, okay. October 4th. September 28th to October 4th. It was massive. What happened? Past 90 days. October 3rd. Huh. What happened on October 3rd that led to the spike? The recent spike in search linked primarily to the announcement by Comet that it would become free for all users. Wow. Wow. Okay, this is a beautiful use case. This is a beautiful use case. Beautiful use case. Common browser previously available only to high-tier paid subscribers would be made free for all users. This step likely generate a wave of interest in AI browsers. People search for new browser alternatives integrating AI capabilities. Free product lower notion of AI browser. Wow. Interesting. Maybe we can make a tweet about it. And save or register. Perfect. So we're just for AI browser. This is why everyone is shipping an AI browser to capture this demand that AI browser wars up again. Trying out ChatGPT's new Atlas Chrome user for quite some time. It's based on a Chromium. It's feel frictionless and familiar. Agent mode is pretty cool, but slow, but cool nonetheless. Our top AI predictions. The browser is becoming AI's control center. The shift from search to execution is already in motion. This is from search to execution. The shift from search to execution. AI. With deeper integration of AI in the UI, it reduces the friction for you to use AI as compared to what you would have used if you just had the web app. You will start asking questions that you would have never asked in the web app, just because it's much easier now. just because it's much easier now. And that will lead to more breakthroughs, new behaviors, new learnings, new discoveries. But I was just want to show you the internet table, run it for your automating, workshopping, and creation. The winners of this new wave will shape how you work online. Yeah, this is really cool. This aspect is really cool. Improve your model for everyone. ChatGPT's product team is now focused on product only, feedback only, unique real data only, unique data that competitors won't have access to, real data generated by real humans, real data generated by real humans, not just synthetic slop. Finally, because technological parity has been achieved among all the frontier labs. It's now about who can create a better product that can learn, that can obtain the most context about the user and give them reliable results. What Sora app did for video gen model is what ChatGPT Atlas is doing for the language model. A high velocity feedback loop. And this is it. Copy image. And we'll put this over here. And I also had another idea. Okay, the only next real contender is X, because when I opened Atlas, I thought, okay, what's the most interesting thing I can do now? And what first came to my mind was OpenX. So if everything is about context now, X has even deeper context than ChatGPT. Deeper context about people, real, unique people than ChatGPT. It's the global network. People connect, share ideas, and work. X browser is the only real next contender. Really cool, really cool. Okay. Search is joining browsing is evolving for the last 17 years. Chrome has been the default browser for almost everyone, but that might finally change. OpenAI just dropped the ChatGPT Atlas. You don't just search, you ask, it does everything for you. Chromium wrapper, like every new browser, but the paradigm shift is real. Yes, ChatGPT is just a Chromium wrapper. Technology won't come suddenly looking like a futuristic spaceship. It will look like tiny improvements standing over the shoulder of giants that you quickly get used to. ChatGPT we quickly get used to all the new AI breakthroughs that have happened in the past 3 years. More personalized, more context aware, honestly a bit scary because, as Brave pointed out, okay, as Brave pointed out, indirect prompt injections are a systematic problem. This short horror video was shared with Sora in the Atlas browser. Interesting. Back at it. This is 12 July. Okay. Building AI products is thinking in verbs, not nouns. As the browser wars continue, it's not building a thing people will use. It's building an action that people will ask for. The challenge is making the verbs as easy to unlock as possible. Okay, that's it. That's the stream.